Okay,
Ready?
I'm ready.
Hi, friend.
Hello, friend.
It's so good to see your face.
It's so good to see your face too.
Yay.
Yay.
I just have to say, for those of you who can't see, Maria has these amazing, like, pink kind of cat eye glasses going on, and I'm really digging it.
Thank you. Yeah, they're pretty rad, and they're like bigger than my face, which is hard to do.
I know.
Yeah,
So, it's been a while.
it has, especially for part two of an episode that's following part one, and part one was a while ago.
Yeah, real life sometimes, just it happens.
It really gets you down. Yeah,
But we get back up.
heck yeah.
What's that song? I get knocked down, but I get up again.
I get
Is
up
that
again.
Chumbawamba?
That is 100% Chumbawamba. Reach out to us, Chumbawamba, if you'd like to sponsor this episode.
So if you're under 30, you have no idea what that reference was.
Nope. But if you're solidly into your 30s, or in my case, 40s,
40s.
yeah, then you absolutely know.
Just Google Chumbawamba tub thumping. We'll link it in the
Yes,
bio.
yes. Oh, I will definitely link that. Yep, 100%. It's too
If
good
you
to pass up.
if you have not experienced.
Yeah, the Chumbawambas.
Well, that was a start I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, no, me either. I was like, yeah, no, cool types of witchcraft. Ah, yay, awesome. What the fuck, Chumbawamba?
Oh, this is why I love you.
Yeah, yeah. This is why I love you too.
So, Maria, in part one, what did we talk about like a month ago?
Ooh, this like a test? I feel like it's like a test.
Oh, well,
In
I was
part one,
I was going to say specifically what we talked about because I have them marked down. But you can
yeah,
yeah.
uh, yeah, okay. We talked about different kinds of witchcraft, but specifically our own paths. Um, and you mentioned eclectic and not green witchcraft, but definitely more like a kitchen witch, house witch situation, of which I agreed a lot for myself as well. A lot of kitchen witchery. Um, and more for myself, like the Italian hereditary-ness of my witchcraft and also ritual magic, which I like.
Mm-mm.
Um, but yeah, I think we mostly talked about like our own paths, but
Yeah.
I think in this episode gonna cover like
Other ones.
some other ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a
We also
lot.
we also touched on divination,
Oh, that's right.
magic, and I talked about my
Oh, your storm
snow,
powers.
my snow summoning and
Hell
tornado
yeah.
tornado repelling.
Yes. Just it's storm magic. Neva?
Storm magic.
Neva is storm. Yes.
Yes, apparently.
Hmm. Awesome.
Uh, okay. So I have a whole list here. Do you want me to just pick one and kind of go with it?
Yeah, let's start there. I have a
Okay.
PDF, but I think we're gonna have a lot of overlap.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay. Solitary.
That's first on
Solitary
my
witch.
list.
Ah.
Mm-mm.
So some people have like, I guess you call it a coven,
Yeah.
where they practice with other people.
Hmm.
But, if you don't have other witchy people in your area or you don't want to do that with them, then you can be a solitary witch and just
Yeah.
do your own thing on your own time whenever you want to. And I think that's kind of my vibe. Because
Yeah.
I know other witchy people, but I'm also just like, I don't think I want to do anything with you.
Yeah. I would say like the majority of my practice is solitary, and a lot of
Mhm.
like I know a lot of witchy people,
Hmm.
and most of them are also solitary,
Yeah.
but in the areas where we overlap, we've done things together. Like me and two of my friends last summer did like a friendship ritual,
Oh, I
which
love
was
that.
yeah, which was really fun. Or we got together during a couple full moon, new moon things and did like our own shit just together. So
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like parallel witchy play, you know? So it's like
Oh, I
it's a
love
full
that.
moon. Let's all be in the same yard, but we'll light candles and do our own spells and do our own things, but we're just
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Um,
The cool thing
but yeah.
about the internet is you don't have to live in the same place if you want to like have a group of people that you do spells with, and you can just like do it
Mhm.
virtually. And I think that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I think it is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
I feel like there's got to be something all of us as a collective can do to just like make the future a little bit better,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
a little bit
My
more promising.
yeah, that's a
I've actually
really
been thinking about that a lot lately. I'm like, can someone organize that?
yeah. Can there be a group of online witches? So, fun story. My cousin, who's magical, and she's amazing. Um, her name is Anya, and she's the coolest, and she lives in New Mexico.
I feel like
She
maybe
is
you've talked about her before.
I have because she's also super witchy. Um, and she was part of a large group of both in person and online witches who were basically trying to like banish a certain political leader during his reign and like
Yeah,
and like rein in the amount of power he could wield. It was nuts.
love
Yeah.
that.
And so there was like
I want to do that.
yeah, so there was like a whole movement where they were like, okay, at this time on this day, we're all going to be performing this ritual and that's going to be our intention. And it was just like thousands of witches across the country performing
I
that
would
ritual.
100% do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so I know she did that 4 years ago. So I'm intrigued to see if she does it again because it would be awesome to participate in.
Yes,
Um
agreed.
yeah. So that could be something that we look into and then talk about on our podcast.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I love that.
but yeah, solitary witch,
I
working on
like,
your own.
yeah, because I don't know, my schedule is crazy sometimes, and
Yeah,
sometimes I'm just like, I'm gonna light a candle and look at it for a little bit.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm also like, I feel like there's as much as I love the idea of a coven, it starts like when they get big, it inches too close to organized religion for me, which like makes me twitchy.
Yep,
Um, and I'm just like,
yep.
I don't know, there's a fine line between a coven of witches getting together and doing cool shit versus an enigmatic leader talking about stuff and roping people into stuff they don't really want to do.
Can I just
Um,
have like a crafty witch coven
yeah, can we
where
just
we
like
just
all get
like get to
together and
where
crochet
yes, yes.
or paint or like braid our hair and, braid our intentions like
Crafty Witch Coven. Okay, new
crafty
Facebook group
witch coven.
idea. Let's write that
Let's do
down.
it. Write it down. Join us for crafty witch coven. Ah, new podcast. Okay. Oh no. Okay.
Okay.
What else
What's
you got?
a Oh, I was gonna let you take a turn.
Oh, okay.
Take something from your list.
All right. Next on my list is Crystal Witch or
Mm.
Crystal Witchery.
Mm-hmm.
So typically people who are deeply connected to the vibration and power of crystals, gems, rocks, stones. Um, they use them to manifest, amplify, or attract or repel energies, protect themselves. You can just like shiny things. You can enjoy making grids, like they're like like sacred geometry is typically looped into that sometimes. You can enjoy making like, crystal grids of things or, charging or cleansing them under moons or during rituals with water, with dirt. Um, but yeah, so crystal witchery is like someone who's like deeply embedded in that aspect of magic and witchcraft.
I like crystals. I like they're
Mm.
shiny and they're pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And I've bought more than I really need over the years. Because at
Mm.
one point I was like, I'm gonna do crystal grids.
Yeah,
That gets expensive.
it's super expensive. Yeah.
Hella expensive. I mean, one tumbled stone, is anywhere from $1 to $7.
Yeah, especially depending on the crystal.
Right. And if you're
Yeah.
gonna do a grid, you need like six of them,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I spent a lot of money on like tumbled crystals before I was like, I don't know if this is really my jam.
Yeah.
And I
I
still like them and I have them. I'm kind of using them in art things now.
oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It was definitely something that I think at the beginning of my practice, I was like, I need this to be witchy.
Right.
you know, it was definitely this like symbol of like, well, I have crystals and therefore
Yeah.
I'm a witch. Um, and now I have like a bunch and I only typically like pull them out or use them for specific things or when I feel drawn to.
Yeah.
Like now they just kind of exist
They kind
in
of
my
feel like
house.
a thing that I have to dust around right now.
Yeah, same. Um, and unless I'm like really, really, really drawn to something, I don't purchase them anymore.
Agreed.
Um, yeah, it's just something that
I have
is
a
now around
black
my house.
tourmaline sphere and a rose quartz sphere
Ooh.
upstairs in kind of like what I would call like the heart of the house, you know?
Yeah,
Because I was like, this feels like a good place to put this. And
yeah,
spheres, are,
they kind of
hmm.
branch out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I keep those upstairs and I do have like an crazy lace agate owl, which is kind of
Ooh.
cute. But no, like, yeah. Once I learned how crystals are like mined
Yeah,
and I watched a video making a crystal sphere, it kind of turned me off of them
yeah, because a lot of
because
the magic gets lost.
yeah. Because to make a sphere, it's like you take a hunk that's, this big and you cut it into a square and then you sand it all down. It's like it just feels I don't know,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Um
Between the
although
labor and the material loss.
yeah, and some things like what's that one? It's green,
Malachite?
not malachite.
Uh,
Um like the one that's supposed to like if you're on the wrong path, it like shoves you
yeah,
onto you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking
Anyway, it
about.
it only it literally only comes from one place in the
Moldavite?
world. You
Is it mold?
Moldavite,
Yeah,
yes.
Moldavite.
Like it literally only comes from one place in the world,
Hmm.
and I don't know.
Getting
Yeah,
genuine Moldavite is like,
almost it's
oh,
hard.
it's hard. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's hard.
which
I
is why it's
think-
expensive.
Yeah,
But down in Arkansas, so I live in Southeast Kansas, so Arkansas is like, and I can get to Arkansas in like an hour, the corner of it.
yeah,
Um, you can actually go rock hunting. Like
yeah.
they're just
That rules.
right, yeah, and it's mostly it's just quartz, different pieces of quartz, and you can like it's just like sitting on the surface. You don't have to dig real deep, but you can go
Yeah,
rock hunting. And like I think that's kind of cool,
yeah.
but it's also not damaging to the earth either, I don't think.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
I
the
think
little bit that you're taking, it's not.
right. I feel like some crystals that I even own, I'm like, I don't know where this came from or how it was harvested or,
Hmm.
who harvested it.
Yeah,
I think crystals are cool and they're pretty, and I think there's also like an environmental and a human aspect that to be taken into account.
yeah. I think so too. I think especially now, if you're getting into buying crystals now, looking for places that can say and prove that they are ethically sourced, um, I
Yeah,
think is really important.
I
Yeah.
think so too.
And that they weren't picked from a mine by children and then, like mass distributed.
Yep.
Um, Stuff
Yeah.
like that's important. Like you could buy crystals on like Temu, but it's like that's like I would not trust anything that comes from, a like wholesale place like that.
Yeah.
There are like gem and rock shows that you can go to, especially in the South,
Hmm.
or desert areas, where people are like, yeah, I went and found these and harvested them basically from caves and whatever. And
Yeah.
maybe and then polished them or tumbled them or whatever. And you're like, okay, great, that's awesome.
I've
Um,
been to metaphysical fairs where they'll have all these like quartz crystals and like I went
yeah,
to Arkansas and
yeah,
I dug these myself in an
yeah,
ethical way. So,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that is a crystal witch.
Um, okay, so we've talked about covens.
We have.
We touched on ceremonial magic, I
We
think.
did. Yeah, the
Okay.
ceremony, ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a big one for me.
How about sea witch?
Sea witch. Yes. All right, what's a sea witch, Neva?
A sea witch is a person who typically lives by a body of water, hence sea, and sea as an SEA, not
Right.
SEE.
Yeah.
Um, and they like incorporate the water into their magic. You know, they use
Mhm.
like a lot of water magic, a lot of sea magic. I personally don't. That's not my thing.
Well, you're also in a landlocked state, so like
That
kind of
is
hard.
true. That is true. I am
Yeah.
definitely I'm a foresty hedge person.
Yeah.
Which we can do hedge next, but
Yeah.
yeah, sea witch.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
typically they also have like seashells
Yeah.
and sea themed things adorning their homes, or altars or things like that. Abalone shells are really important, I
Mm-hmm.
think, for sea witches. And also, if you're a type of witch or person who during rituals or whatever likes to have things that embody the different elements, abalone shells or seashells typically are what represent water. Um, so that can be important.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a
yeah,
seashell on my altar for water.
yeah, yeah. Um, I have some cool shells that I got at the beach, but I am within an hour's drive of a beach, so
Well,
that's different.
you know what? I say that I don't have sea witchiness, but anytime I have been to a beach where there's like water, I'm just like, there is just something about that sound,
It is
like the
extremely
waves.
peaceful.
I'm just like, oh, this is like, I get it. This is nice.
Yeah. I think there's a part of me that's like you're actively getting to witness the power of nature, like you're watching it happen.
Yeah,
Like the moon is affecting this. There are waves because of this. Nature is working right here.
yeah,
Um and there's something very, I think, harmonious about subjecting yourself to the rhythms of the earth where you have no pull. You have no effect.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. So, what was the next one? You want to do Hedge Witch?
Hedge witch.
Hell yeah.
So, head to me, hedge witch is like your quintessential old woman living in the woods and going to her for your tinctures and for your
Yes.
and I'm just like, yes, that is what I want.
It's basically a hermit witch who lives in the woods, and you tell her that you'll give her your firstborn, and she will make your current husband disappear. Um, so you can marry the cute farm hand who's adorable and a lady. But anyway, I don't know why that headcanon just popped. Anyway,
Maria's gonna write a book now.
I'm totally gonna write a fanfic about it for something. I don't know what. Yeah. Um, yeah, I love hedge witches because it's really, they are almost always solitary witches.
Yep.
Yeah, because they work alone. Um, and crafty. Typically really crafty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either like
Gathering.
yeah, yeah, gathering herbs, woodworking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you ever okay, so this is tangentially related. So I was subbing back, during school or whatever, and I put on Tangled or something, some Disney movie. And this first grader was like, "She's a witch." And this other kid's like, "How can you tell?" And the little kid goes, "Just look at her, you can tell." And I'm
like the
like,
mom or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rapunzel?
No, the mom.
The mom, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The bad
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
you know.
Mother
So,
Gothel.
yeah. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this actually explains a lot of, you know, how long it took for me to feel comfortable saying, yeah, I'm a witch. I'm like, no wonder, because in all
Yeah.
of pop culture, every, you know,
Every witch is like old, ugly, with warts and a hook nose, and she's
and
out to get you.
yeah, or like the sea witch and Ariel, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, Ursula could fucking get it though.
Right?
Let's talk about the OG Disney drag queen. Oh, love her.
And the older I get, the more I'm like, why do I like these witch villains so
Yeah.
much? I'm like, I mean, and I'm also like, you know what? They probably got pissed off and got tired of taking everybody's crap, and now everyone
Yes.
acts like they're the villain when in truth, like they're probably the ones in the right.
Yeah. Right? Like I was thinking about that. I'm like, what, like the witch in Beauty and the Beast who cursed the beast. He was a fucking dick to her. And
Right?
then she was like, curse on your house then, big boy. And turned into a beast. You'll never know love. And it's like, okay, I get it. Don't piss off the witches.
Don't piss off the witches. Moral of the story.
Moral of the story. And also new t-shirt idea. Um okay. Um Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go.
I'll pick one. Okay. Ba, ba, ba. All right, so cosmic witches are a
Mm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stargazers. Witches are all about astrology and astronomy, largely focused on the lunar energies of the moon, spells that amplify or protect against celestial events. They are typically clued up on star signs and birth charts, um, but their practice is active and not passive. So basically, the more you know about what's going on with the planets and the stars, the more you can um, decide what things you should engage with when. But also, cosmic witches tend to be more drawn to the sciency, air quotes, cosmic workings of the universe. So,
Hmm.
like actual alignment of the planets, or um, you know, certain galaxies, universes, nebulas, constellations, things that actively everyone can see and engage with. Um, Instead of just
Yeah.
being like, it's magic. Um,
I find astrology interesting and I know my own stuff, but beyond that, I'm pretty much useless. Um but I mostly just like going out at night and being like, wow, everything seems like it's not so bad.
yeah.
Like, look how big the fucking universe is. Like, my tiny ass problems aren't that big of a deal.
Hmm. Yeah. I think it's good for perspective for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? I can't think of it.
That's
Nope,
okay.
it's gone.
Yep. And my brain is done.
My
Yeah.
brain my brain just stopped. No big deal.
Yeah. I like I like the birth chart stuff. I think that falls in line with like the human design stuff too, because that's also dependent on like your birth time and date and place.
Hmm.
Um, but so like I know my stuff and I know my partners and my kids, um, and how we align, and have definitely used that information to maintain harmony at
Right?
times. Yeah, particularly amongst my children, because they are polar opposites. Their energies are so different. And so it's just like one more bit of information that I have that I can, wield against them when necessary in the battle of parenting. And it's like, hey, you know what? You both have this, whatever, Leo in your Saturn. Maybe do this.
Aw, love
Yeah.
that.
And so most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But um it is interesting to know, and they like to know. They're like, "Ooh, tell me about mine." And they'll want to like sit there and read through their birth charts, which is really adorable.
Oh, that's
So,
cute. That's cute.
yeah. So, cosmic witches,
Yeah.
stars,
Uh
moons.
yeah. Chaos Witch.
Oh, fuck yeah.
uh Chaos Witch is just like, I don't care what color candle you say I have to use. I'll use whatever fucking color I want. And basil means this to me. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
And okay. I read somewhere's like doing big spells like during Mercury retrograde,
Oh my God. Or during an eclipse, or
during an
drinking eclipse
eclipse.
water.
Hey now. Hey now.
Hey now. There's something that was like, if you were diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder and were in talented and gifted, you're a fucking chaos witch. Like,
Wait, you shouldn't drink your eclipse water immediately after the eclipse?
not if you want to be cleansed right the fuck now. So I have a jar of eclipse water sitting upstairs on my, like, along with all my witchy shit. And
Yeah.
Gemma, my daughter, was just like, "Hey, can I drink some of that?" I was like, "Not today." I was like, "You gotta go to swimming. Not right now."
So, okay, I will share the backstory to all of this.
Oh, please do.
What was that April we had the eclipse?
It was April 8th.
Okay, April 8th. I woke up early, drove with my in-laws, my brother-in-law, and a couple of their cousins to Arkansas to see the eclipse. And I had this bottle of, it was like a frozen bottle of water. And I was like, well, I'm thirsty. I'll just like set this in the sun to sort of like melt. And I was like, oh, cool. It'll just be my eclipse water. And then, so the eclipse happens and the eclipse is over. And I was like, okay, well, it's melted now and I'm thirsty. So I drink this whole bottle of water. Less than 10 minutes later, I was like, oh God, like my stomach does the gurgle gurgle. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. And so I was like, I'm going to this Hobby Lobby. I'm going to go use the bathroom. So, of the stores to poop in,
Yes. Shit all over fucking Hobby Lobby.
I have to say Hobby Lobby is like top choice.
I feel like the universe made a decision that day.
So, if you just want to like release a lot of shit and literally shit,
Go to Hobby Lobby.
drink some Eclipse water and go to Hobby Lobby.
Go to Hobby Lobby. Hey, that's cosmically satisfying on multiple levels.
Multiple levels. All of the
Hell yeah.
levels.
Well, all the levels.
All of the levels.
Oh,
Oh
good
shoot.
stuff.
Yeah.
Things
Whose
to
turn?
be aware of. Yeah.
It was unexpected because like as the moon is moving in front of the sun, I was like, oh, I should like set some sort of intention or something for this eclipse. And it was actually like releasing fear and the things, and so I I guess that
Sure
was
did.
a physical manifestation of my intention.
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it.
Uh,
Oh,
who's is it your turn?
I think it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah,
Okay. We kind of talked about Green Witch last time, but do you want to go
we
in more
did.
depth?
Sure.
Green witches are witches that grow plants. I mean, in the simplest of terms,
Right.
I am not a green witch. I kill plants, unfortunately. Um, but I will say, when we filmed the previous episode to this, um, and my wife asked, like, what did you talk about today? And I said, oh, we're talking about different kinds of witches. And she's like, oh, that's cool. What kind am I? And I just kind of gestured at all the plants. And she stares at me, she's like, what?
What do you mean?
So yes,
Yeah.
my wife is a green witch. I am not. I try. I want to be, and I
Yeah.
try, but plants tend to unfortunately die
Oh,
around me.
it's okay.
I always have the best of intentions.
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, I think it's, green witches are like, they draw their power from the earth and they like the outdoors. They plant, flower. They do a lot of herbal preparations. You could do like flower essences. Um, Two of my closest witchy friends are like real green witches. It's like the like real herbalism. They lean
Hmm.
heavily into the herbalism, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Um, I like I would identify as like like a little bit of a green witch. Like I love plants. I have a shit ton of plants in my house.
Oh, I love
Um,
plants. I
yeah,
just can't keep them alive.
yeah. Which I do my best. I have a bunch of weeds growing in my yard and found like 4 tomato plants among them, so that was cool. I'm gonna put those in a pot, grow some tomato plants. My
Love
Italian
that.
really can't stay away. Um, but yeah, so in the spring we have a bunch of violets that
Ooh.
in our yard, which is very pretty because it's like right before the lawn needs to be mowed. And so it's like it's just all purple and white and it looks so pretty. And
Aw.
so I read somewhere, I was like, you can make a violet simple syrup. And I was like, oh,
Ooh.
that's cool. I'm gonna do that. Hmm. So I spent hours just picking just the violet flowers, the purple violet flowers in my yard. Blah 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 blah. I steep them, I do the thing, I leave them overnight, which apparently you're not supposed to do. And then I mix it with sugar, do the whole thing, and I bottle it, and it's this like beautiful purple color. And I'm like, ooh, look at what I made. I put it in this cute, like potion looking bottle, and I'm like, oh, fancy. And so Nick, my husband, was like, oh, I'm gonna make a cocktail with like gin, and it'll look, all purple. I was like, cool. So he drinks it, and like 20 minutes later was like, I don't feel so good.
Oh no.
uh, I don't know if it's cleansing or just poison.
Oh
I
no.
definitely made poison. I was like, you know what? No more tinctures for me. Great with plants. Not out here to poison my husband. Not today, anyway. And so he was like, well, maybe it was just my stomach because I mean, TMI, he has IBS. So, like, whatever. Sometimes his stomach is just upset for no reason.
Yeah, I get that.
So, on a totally different day, he's like, I'm going to have some again. I was like, okay. And the exact same thing happened. He's like, no, you made poison. He's like, Maria, you tried to poison me. This is poison.
Oh no. Oh
Oh, yeah. And so the kids were like, can we have some? I was like, nope,
no.
down the drain.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, maybe I stay away from that stuff. But like, I made my own Florida water, which was cool because you can make that with like vodka
Mhm.
and a bunch of like herbs and citrusy things.
Mhm.
And then and you don't consume it. You use it for cleaning. And I'm like, that's
Right.
great. No one has
Yeah.
to die because I don't know
Right.
how to make something. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot of different cool things that green witches can do, and a lot of dangerous things if you don't know what you're doing.
Always make sure you know what you're doing.
Yes, there's an Instagram account called Black Forager who I highly suggest you follow if you're into eating things outside, and she's phenomenal and goes over like foraging safety, and
Yeah.
she's pretty rad. So,
Yeah. I foraging intrigues me, and I'm also like, I don't want to accidentally pick something and kill myself.
yeah, 100%. Um yeah. We did a lot of foraging like as a kid. I did. Um, my dad was like super into, he would call it mushroom hunting. And I'm like, okay, but is it hunting if they're not moving? But whatever. So
No.
like a couple days after it would rain, he'd hand me a trash bag and a knife and we'd go into the woods and he'd be like, pick these, don't pick those. And
Yeah.
we would,
Morels, right?
yeah, tons of morels. And we would gather a shit ton of mushrooms. And then my nonna would like cook them, poach them, pickle them, do all kinds of stuff. And they were typically delicious. I don't think he killed us. You know, I haven't died.
You
So,
have a brother you don't know about.
yeah, whoops. And we also like we'd go on like the side of the highway and pick dandelion greens,
Mm.
which was totally cool because it was on the highway on the way to the mall. And so like my friends and people from my high school would see me out there with like a trash bag and a pocket knife, like picking greens and be like, what are you doing? Some kind of like jail community service? No, it's just my super Italian dad wants to pick dandelion greens. Yeah, good stuff.
Love
Um,
that.
yeah, be safe when you forage, kids.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's the moral of that story.
I
Um, what kind of witch shall we cover next?
don't know. Your choice.
Oh, is it my choice?
Uh-huh.
Aw. Um, oh, how about a gray witch?
Mm-hmm.
So gray witches typically straddle the divide between white and black magic. These terms are I don't love them.
I don't love them
Um
either.
yeah. So it's basically like using whatever suits the situation. We'll use curses and hexes if the situation calls for it. Many witches follow like their own ethic of doing the highest good. Like the unofficial slogan of witchcraft is like do no harm but take no shit. Um and so a lot of it has to do with like redirecting bad energy or curses to where they came from. They will often call on spirits for guidance or help if they need be. Or if you feel drawn to the darker arts of the world. Yeah. So I don't know how much of that is just keeping
Colonialism.
is colonialism and keeping women away from their power, which is what really bugs me about the term gray witch. And it's like just
Hmm.
say that you don't want women to be powerful, because that's what you mean. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is technically a type of witch, but I don't like the terminology around it. And I think women just by existing are gray witches. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Okay.
Uh, how
Go ahead.
about secular witches?
Ooh, what's that?
So a secular witch is one that doesn't follow like a specific path. So like you might have do a little bit of paganism, you might have a little bit of a Wiccan, you might have a little bit of this or that. Like you don't follow one specific,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe you have some Celtic gods and maybe some Greek gods and take a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like you don't just do
Yeah.
one thing. Which I think, I don't know.
I think a
I
lot of us do.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
also I think um there's probably some like religious trauma
Mm.
inherent in wanting to be a secular witch, you know.
Yes, I would agree.
Um I don't I think my religious trauma is more like recent and just like
Yeah.
observing how other people move about in the world and interact with people, and I'm like, I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Um,
I get that.
so yeah, secular witch.
Okay. I like that though.
Yeah.
Um, one that we sort of touched on because it falls between a kitchen witch and a house witch, which is
Hmm.
a hearth witch.
Ah,
And I feel
yeah.
like they have a ton of similarities.
Do you say hearth or hearth?
Oh, I say hearth, but it's
Really? I
hearth.
Is it hearth? I don't know. Maybe
I
it's
think
because
this is our regional dictions catching up with us.
I was like, yeah.
East Coast versus Midwest. Yeah, hearth, hearth. Get at us in the
Potato,
comments.
potato, potato.
Potato, potato. It's all mashed. Um, so for me,
Or
yeah,
root versus routes.
who says routes?
Like no, like the road. Like Route 66.
It says tree routes. That's crazy. Never mind. Things can be two things. Homophones, kids. Homophones.
Not to be confused with homophobes,
Correct, which we do not like.
but homophones are
Fun for
fun.
everyone. Yeah, fun for everyone. Anyway, so a hearth or hearth
Sorry.
witch, that's fine. It's amazing. Is a witch that focuses on the home and can also be a kitchen witch, but typically involves focusing on objects and rituals around the home. Candle magic, ritual cleaning seems to be the biggest one associated with um hearth/hearth witchcraft. But similar to that, a house witch is focuses on making their house a magical space. So through cooking, cleaning, performing homey rituals, um, this is probably this is my husband. My husband is a hearth witch all the way. And he will be the first one to tell you that he's the houseiest witch of all. He loves having our house clean. And when he cleans, his intention is to like provide a safe space for his family. He doesn't do he does some cooking. Like it's pretty split even for cooking, but like when he does, it's to, nourish our family. And he puts a lot of intention into the home. And he says all the time, because I don't know if it's because he's introverted, but it's like where he draws his power from is being at home. He feels his most powerful in his element and in his magic than when he's home in a house that he's cleaned, that he's provided. Um, and so like on the first of the month, we blow cinnamon in the front door, and there are herbs and things hanging about, and spell jars that me and him and the kids have made, um, tossed about the house and buried in the yard. And those are all things that I feel very connected to, and he's found a lot of. It's the thing he's most connected with through,
Love that.
yeah, through like my magical journey. That was his. As soon as I defined that as a thing, he was like, "Oh, that's what I am," and I was like, "Yeah, babe, you're a house witch." He was
Uh,
like, "Yeah." He's like, "I got that big Hera uterus energy," and I was like, "Yeah, you do."
love that. Love that.
Yeah.
I feel like my wife's like that too, to a
Mm,
certain extent.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There's something about like sitting in a room that you just cleaned though. Like it just feels so
yeah,
good.
it's like laying in a bed with fresh sheets.
It is the same
It's
feeling.
the same feeling. You're just like, yes. Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Do you want to do one more?
And then we'll pull a card.
Yep.
Yeah. What you got?
Okay. How about Wiccan?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sure.
So I don't particularly identify with Wicca because to me it feels too organized religion-y, which
Same.
we've discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I should have, maybe you have more information on Wicca, but it's a relatively new sort of quote unquote religion,
Mm-hmm.
created by a guy.
Right. Created by a dude.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like witchcraft with rules, basically, is how I
Yes.
would explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Witchcraft with rules. I actually, okay, fun story. I work at a bar. I have one more shift because I start a new big kid job tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Congrats, Neva.
And we have like a TV, and I deliberately chose Ghost Hunters because
Yes.
I know that one of the regulars is like he hates like Ghost Hunters or X-Files or Buffy. He hates anything like that. And
Yes.
I was like, I'm gonna pick this specifically because I know he will walk in and complain and ask for the remote.
Amazing.
So
Yes.
anyway, a different semi-regular was in and we were just chatting. And okay, these people were so dumb. Okay. These supposed, I can't remember what they were supposed to be. But they were talking about how like they went into this house and some dark energy followed them back into their house and all these things. I was like, and I just commented out loud and I was like, those people are fucking dumb if they went into this
Oh,
house knowing that it was had this stuff and they didn't do any sort of personal protection on themselves at all.
thank you. Yeah.
Like
So important.
like, that is so fucking stupid. That is on them.
It's
And
Witchcraft
so,
101. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I can't even go to into a fucking graveyard if I don't do a little like room.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Agreed.
Um, so the semi-regular, he's like, so are you like Wiccan or something? I was like, no, I'm just a
No.
witch. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, and then he's like, I don't know if I could just like say that word.
Well, you know what? Good. to be cautious. Good for you.
He's like, I didn't know if I could just like say that, say which. And I'm
So,
like,
well, they're not burning us at the stake anymore. Well, at least not so traditionally. So,
and I was like, no, it's okay. You can say it. He's like,
yeah,
oh, okay, cool. And then we like went back to watching Ghost Hunters.
I love it. Yeah, I think that's an important distinction. Wiccan is a religion founded by some dude named Gerald Gardner.
Mhm.
Witchcraft is a practice that is involved in that religion.
Right.
Um, but it is very rule ritual heavy.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's people's first inkling introduction into the world, and then some people are comforted by the fact that it's this waypoint between organized religion and witchcraft
Hmm.
because it has a comprehensive set of rules, and then thus can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to each their own.
To each their own. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are a
There's
ton that we didn't talk about.
there
you know
are.
Norse and satanic witches,
Oops.
um Hellenic witches, and fairy witches. um yeah,
We might do a part 3. Just
we
depends
could.
on how I feel.
Yeah, so I would love to do like a witchcraft 101 episode.
Ooh. Oh, I would love that.
That would be fun. Guys, let us know if you want us to do that, because I think that would be cool.
While I shuffle these cards,
Yeah.
um, it's funny that you mentioned blowing cinnamon through your door
Yeah.
because I had an idea for an episode of like what are some practices that seem common like everyone does that you don't do. And
Oh,
that's one of them. I was like,
you don't do that. Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
All right.
um
This
all
deck
right, what's
is,
our card?
well, I haven't got
Oh,
it yet. This deck is kind of bigger than a typical tarot deck. It's kind of more oracle deck shaped.
is it a
So
tarot or is it an oracle?
it is a tarot.
Okay.
Okay, what do we have? Oh, Queen of Cups. Okay,
Ooh, hell yeah.
so this deck is really cool. I like it. It's all of the
Ooh.
cards are what's a collage.
Oh, it's like mixed media collage
Yeah.
art.
So like the artist who made this deck, all of the originals are like huge and then they like shrank them for the deck. So this is the Queen of Cups
Love that.
and the Queen of Cups is like feeling those inner feelings
Yeah. She's really feeling her emotions, sitting in them, being the queen of them.
and considering we just entered Cancer season, which always wrecks me.
Yeah. Oof. Like literally 2 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I am a Cancer moon. And so yeah, Cancer
I
season
have
always
I
gets
have
to me
Cancer,
too.
Mercury, and Mars,
Ooh,
so
girl. Ooh, boy.
no.
Yeah.
Cancer season wrecks me.
Yeah. I was on like a date night last night with my partner, and we had gone and done something really cool, and we're like driving to another location for something else. I just started crying. And he was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No, I need to go home." Just, gotta figure feelings out. Cancer season doesn't fuck around. Like, it just
Nope.
doesn't.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, Neva, what is bringing you joy this week?
Well, I start my new job tomorrow.
Yeah.
I I got a big kid job that's not in public school. It's like in a completely new sort of career path for me, which I'm feeling the feelings
Of course. Of
about,
course.
the uncertainty of, doing something new has really been fueling my imposter syndrome.
Hmm.
So I've just been trying to like give that the space to exist and, acknowledging that it exists and so yeah. That's what's bringing me joy is I have a new job and I'm very excited for it.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's
All
bringing
right.
you joy this week, Maria?
Um, ooh, well,
You're on summer vacation now, right?
I am on summer
Hell yeah.
vacation. Yeah. So that alone does bring me joy. Although at the end of every school year, I need to have like a week of panic attacks. Um, and I know it sounds crazy, but it's like they've just been building and building and building, and I
No,
push
I
them off.
understand.
Yeah, to get through the end of the year. And so at the end of the year, I really have to like allot myself a couple days to just freak out.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
and so during that time, I had a lot more support and I was more prepared for it than I had been in the past. And so that um is weird to say, but it brought me a lot of joy that like I was able to get through that period a little more intact than I had been in the past.
That's
So,
good.
which was good. And I recognized it in the kids as well. And we scheduled very little for the week after school got out. And we all just kind of forced ourselves to chill. And it was extremely helpful.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, instead of diving into summer activities. So,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
No, I totally get that because, I taught for 9 years
Yeah.
and
It's no joke.
the end of the school year is no joke.
No.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. And I'm the video broadcast teacher. So, like, I am responsible for live streaming graduation.
oof.
Yeah, which is like, we like my school graduated 713 seniors.
Holy
That was
moly.
that was just our senior class.
Do you have the only
Um
school in the state or something?
no, but no, it's the biggest town in the state. It's huge. Yeah. So we have like 4,000 kids in our school and, of all of those, so the stadium was packed and there's, our kids have extended families and so they're all watching the live stream. And so there's like thousands of people watching the live stream, like, because they're dependent on seeing their kid cross the stage. And you're just like, that's all on me. And so, but it had a really great team of us working together. And even though it was really hot and gross, we did it. And then the school year was over. And then I had a little freak out time. And now I'm excited for the summer.
Yay. I'm
And
glad for you.
I'm happy for you too.
Oh, yay.
So, anyway, like and subscribe and listen to stuff or just share it. You don't even have to listen to it. Just share it.
Tell your friends. Trick your friends into listening.
Agreed. Be like, listen to this cool song. JK, it's a podcast.
And Chumbawamba tub thumping.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes, Chumbawamba. I'm 100% gonna link it in the description. So if you don't know what it is, you'll find out soon enough.
All right. Bye, friends.
Bye, friends.